Here we go once again, the What It Takes Radio Company, connecting you with your audience because everybody has an audience. And so, once again, we are on the air with just a few thoughts that might be helpful to you. And on this Sunday evening, B-U-T, but. 3 letters for 3 words that we need to think about because new things are going to happen and we need to be ready. But. Well, greetings once again, ladies and gentlemen. This is Stan, and we are still in the transformation zone, which will be, I think, where we're going to spend a lot of time. Now, what I have discovered is that we have to figure out a little bit more about what's going to happen, but then we have to do a lot more about figuring out what we are going to do. Will there be some major transformations that are going to take place in the United States of America and in your part of the world, wherever that will be? Well, what is true is that Donald Trump is serious. It took him a long time and a hard slog to get the presidency back, but he did. And he got it back rather resoundingly, which of course has his supporters thrilled and has those who opposed him very, very much upset. And they're trying to decide what they're going to do. Well, let us think briefly about that in terms of our own lives. So that's a little bit about what is in my life right now. I will be making some significant decisions about how I will make my life somewhat different, how I will, in effect, learn how to bless others. That's what I'm going to have to do. I'm going to have to learn how to be more useful. And then I'm going to see if perhaps I can turn some some trust, some transactions into some transformations in my life and for other people too. I was reading a book just briefly that my wife picked up at one of those. It's a nice book, but was originally $19.95 and now it's about $4, but still a brand new book. And it was simply a book by a man named Alan Wright, and it was about how to bless people, how to be a blessing. Make me a blessing was an old hymn that many of us learned. And very simply, how can we bless others? Just think about that. When you get up in the morning, how can I bless others? Then it really struck me because let me just tell you a brief story about me. My daughter, Megan, knew that after her high school and then college career that she wanted to go to New York City and become a writer. She loved books. She had the experience of being a part of the world as she grew up, not in America, where there was very little television. And so both our daughters, they are book lovers and their homes are full of books. And she wanted to be a writer and an author. And she soon went off to New York City and made it there. One of the books she wrote, her first book, was right here. Now, 2 things about it. The title is wonderful. How to be useful. Unfortunately, even though it sold pretty well, the fact that it was such a terrible cover and it had a terrible subtitle, unfortunately, Macmillan was the publisher of it and they blew it. But how to be useful. And what she discovered is that she's cute, she's smart, all of those qualities go into who she is. And she said, you know what? Nobody really cared in New York. They wanted to know, can you be useful? And so it was a book on how to be useful, particularly for young adults. Particularly for young adults who are starting their careers, particularly those young adults who are perhaps in the creative fields, of maybe like lawyering or advertising or creating things. So, how to be useful. And as I was listening to a recent, one of those brand new, up to date, all the time little biographies of Elon Musk, and we're seeing a number of those because it seems like his energy and enthusiasm is going to continue, and he may be a part of the Donald Trump story and situation. And one of the things he said was that he was always looking for ways where what he was doing could be useful. And that's how he began his career. He was a computer geek, a nerd kid, and suffered some of the, indignities and certainly the bullying that came along with being one of those kind of kids. But he said, "How can I be useful?" And so, that's a good thought. How can I, in the work that I'm going to do, it may be things I love to do, it may be things that I'm really good at doing, it may be something that's very entertaining, it might be something that is beautiful, but is it useful? Is it useful? And so, how can I more and more make sure that the question before me is, yeah, can it be a blessing? And can it be useful? And in effect, could it actually go beyond just change, beyond just a transaction? And one of my mentors recently pointed out that oftentimes, if it's just a temporary transaction that happens within you, either you change something about you or change something about how you're doing things or change something in some direction, uh, that's just a transaction. But actually, it's what you do with the transaction and how it fully helps you live a life of greater freedom, greater flourishing, and greater fruitfulness. Freedom, flourishing, fruitfulness, not just performance. Think about it. Freedom, fruitfulness, things of those kinds of things. That might be something that would be a transformation in your life. And many of us now are trying to find ways where we can help people have those kind of experiences in their life. Blessing, useful, transformational. That's the three-letter word, kind of, but what are you going to do? But why? But how? But you. Blessing, useful, transformational. Just kind of let that sit on your head. And as I start resting now for my Saturday night meeting with myself, and as I get up in the morning, how can I start Monday morning? A lot of the tension and the turmoil of the election will have been past, and now there will be a greater sense of normalcy and opportunity. How can I bless, useful, transformational? Just let that kind of sit on your head tonight, and maybe even think about it when you get up tomorrow morning. All the best and blessings to you. Till next time, which will be pretty soon. Who knows? Perhaps tomorrow we'll have something new that came to us that might be helpful and useful to you. Take care. Bye for now.